edgy protagonist. You can find this archetype basically everywhere. You know, I'm talking about the... And edgy is the definition of the main character in this manhwa. He's so cliche in every way that it's hard to bear. He's revenge driven, brutal, and was once a hero. He legitimately ticks off every single box. But how about I just show you how edgy he actually gets? We start off with a main character as a hero, as he's detaining one of the most powerful villains, who has just wiped his entire hero squad, who were some of the most powerful beings in the world. So he doesn't kill him because of his hero code, and instead sends him to the most secure prison in the world, where he will be executed. His brother, who's a guard at the prison, is appointed to be the villain's executioner. Well, but that doesn't go as planned, because an EMP attack releases all the prisoners, and that means his brother's gonna end up on a t-shirt. Because he's just a normal human. So the villain, and I'm gonna butcher his name, Sang-win, first spirals his arm into nothingness, and then turns my dude into a meatball. I mean, look at him! What did he do to my boy? You know, the main character being shown the footage, he's reasonably mad and about to crash out. The warden then asks the main character to take control of the prison again, because all the suppression devices on the inmates turned off, allowing them to run rampant in the entire prison. The protagonist accepts under one condition, and that is if he's allowed to enter the prison not as a hero, but as an executioner. You know, get it because... yeah, never mind. The prison is divided into 6 levels, where the deeper you go, the worse the criminals get. And so the protagonist pulls up on the ground floor, and he's out for blood, he just wants the smoke. He gives the prisoners a choice and tells them to either put their suppression devices back on and to wait for the actual execution, or to die at his hands. And because this is the beginning of the story, these people are just gonna be unequivocally evil. Like this villain saying, no, actually I killed 10 people, because the hero lady was gonna have twins. You know, it's basically like...
My name is Retep, and I am evil.
And the moment the prisoners say, no, we ain't going down without a fight, he says, then I won't have to hold myself back, and proceeds to wipe the entire ground floor. And these two actual buffoons see this. He tells them to put their suppression devices back on, and one of them still decides to attack. His head just disappears, and this dude, seeing his homie just dissipate, says, okay, I surrender, please give it to me. Never mind, he says, screw that. Yeah, no, he's gone. Like, genuinely, what made him think that this was going to go any other way? Bro saw him 1v100, he saw people get eradicated and genuinely turn into smithereens, and was like, yeah, no, I'm different, I'm going to win this. Like, who do you think you are, Deku? And while he's doing this, he's just thinking, how many did I kill? Dozens? Hundreds? So what? Is this supposed to feel ecstatic? It just feels like crushing a neck with your fists. You know, it kinda makes you understand his character, he's not enjoying any of this. But, is he still 10 times more edgy than Prime Sasuke? Yes. So, the final fight on the ground floor is this prisoner. And we get a flashback to the main character almost killing him, because bro's a weird cannibal, but he was stopped by his former party member. Yo, why do you look like Star and Stripe? Anyways, back to the present. His superpower is, man, who am I kidding? It doesn't really matter because he's dead. And with his last breath he says, you're not a prison guard, you're just a monster. You're no different from Sang-win. And we also get a look at Sang-win. And he's wearing the cap of the main character's brother. And he's still holding the meat cube that was his brother in his hands. And he's out here turning more people into meatballs. We also get a look at this crazy chick who's basically responsible for all of this. But I'm not gonna talk about her yet because she's weird. The main character then goes down another sub-level. And the one plotting on him there is the sister of someone who was once in his hero party. So her plan is to just put all the suppression devices on him. Because this dude is so strong, he doesn't even try to dodge attacks. He just lets it happen. And her plan works, he doesn't try to fight back. But that doesn't matter at all. Even after putting on enough suppression devices to subdue even the most powerful of heroes, he just overpowers them. He is just that strong. So he then faces off against his party member's sister. And you know, we get a backstory about how she was always a little messed up. And the backstory is about how the hero system before Star and Stripe became the head of the association basically nurtured these evil heroes. He then beats the crap out of her. And when she's begging to be spared, he says, you killed a mountain of people, didn't you? What was your response when they begged for their lives? And he then just ends her. This is supposed to make you see his point of view. How he believes that every person in this prison is indiscriminately evil and absolutely deserves to die. Which is kinda simple-minded, but the story also never acts as though he's in the right. Although some readers would beg to differ. The thing is, the story is not bad. It's just predictable to a boring degree. Because obviously he's gonna have this black and white view challenged. I knew that the moment I saw these people being cartoonishly evil. On the next floor, we meet another prison guard. And of course, she's his brother's wife, who is pregnant and also doesn't know about his brother's passing. And she has the powers to find out whether people are guilty or not. She can kind of enter their mind. So after she begs him to take her with him, he lets her. So this entire floor they're on is basically the domain of those two kids. Both their powers are kind of like mind control. And they can also summon monsters. So after the brother's wife realizes that he's just killing all the inmates, she's like, hey dude, what the fuck? Don't do that. That makes the main character really frustrated. All this idealistic talk. But that's just what it is. Talk, and more talk. But I guess he relieved all the stress by killing all the prisoners. Afterwards, he finds the two kids, who are mentally obviously not all that developed. And they then say to the prison guard, you know we didn't do anything to deserve the death penalty. And they ask the main character, can you maybe not kill us? And he then says, nah, you deserve to die. No matter what you do, death is your only option. He then subdues them and then says, a villain once taught me how to torture people. I never knew it would come in handy. The girl then calls him a monster. And that slightly aggravates him, because he turns them into mush. I mean, they weren't real, but still, you fell for level 1 rage bait. Following that, he just brute forces his way to the real siblings, then tortures the sister to make them release the prison guards. But they ask to at least speak to his brother's wife, because she was the one who consulted them up until now. So they ask her, do you really think we deserve to die? But what did we do to deserve this? Please say something. And she tried to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. She couldn't say anything. He then tries to kill them, but he can't because their master put a barrier on them. So after breaking through every part of the barrier, he's like, something's off. He asks his brother's wife to read the memories on the spell. So they experience their backstory. And would you look at that, they're basically innocent. The only person they really did kill was this crazy chick that tried to do them in first. The worst they did was keep tens of thousands of people hostage. But remember, they are children. And even for their age, still underdeveloped. Like you can't expect to give a 6-year-old an atomic bomb and for them not to mess everything up. After finding out all of this, the main character has a mental breakdown. He's like, this is so annoying. But ignoring all of that for now, why didn't the prison guard, why didn't she say anything when he tried to kill them the first time? The speech bubble said that she couldn't say anything, insinuating that she thought they were guilty. But she has mind-reading abilities, so she must have known that they weren't, even if she could just read their minds. She should have known that their worst crimes was holding people hostage, and them killing one person was self-defense. Of course, we don't know her full capabilities, but with all the things we know, this makes zero sense. And this is also never elaborated on, because right after, they just get killed off by the weird girl that I didn't want to talk about. She pulls up and says, hi, I'm a main villain and I believe in eugenics. All people without power should die. Look at this, even the main character's not having it. She wants him to be her Adam and she'd be Eve. Yeah, whatever, bro. She got like space manipulation powers and one of her underlings just goes.
Yeah.
And the main character is so powerful, she summons all of the prisoners still left in the prison. Oh, hell nah.
You hear from anybody else, nigga, I got jumped in LA by some pussy ass niggas.
And after seeing Sung win, he changes into this form. So the main character and him fight. Because no one can really keep up. And they use everything. They're like bloody and beaten. But the main character still has a trick up his sleeve. And creates some kind of prison. And almost kills him, but he's saved by the crazy girl. And we just see the main character laying there with a meat cube in his hand. Then all the other villains are about to kill the main character. But Sungwon is like, nah, I want a rematch when I'm all grown up. And you know, that's a good point to stop. So what do I actually think about it? The art is actually incredible. This cartoonish style in which the lines are drawn makes it look so stylized. Not only that, but the most important chapters of the manhwa have really fitting music, which makes it infinitely more entertaining to read. Those are the good, even great parts. The story, that's something different though. It really is nothing special. It's just kind of predictable, which makes it boring. Like, is it that crazy of an expectation to not want to have to sit through every bad guy's backstory right before they're about to die? And sometimes they're pure evil and sometimes they're actually good in their heart. Don't get me wrong. There is value to the themes and messages in this story. It's not about forgiving the crimes of the worst, but understanding how some people came to be so messed up in the first place. How villains are sometimes just a failure of society, and how sometimes they were just that evil to begin with. How there can be nuance to every perspective. The issue isn't the message or the themes, it's that I don't care about the characters nor the story. There are some interesting story beats in the second half of the season, but I didn't really care for most of the political talk, unless this character was involved. But you just have to find out for yourself if you like this manhwa. For me personally, this was like a 4 shadows out of 6 Lucys.